How dare you reject my bribe, and who the hell do you think you are?
The courthouse stenographer's booth smelled like old paper and recycled air. Mina's fingers cramped over the keys as the defense attorney's voice droned through another objection. Third day of the Kim corruption trial. Third day of watching lawyers in $1,000 suits argue over evidence everyone knew existed. Third day of her phone buzzing with texts from the restaurant asking when she'd arrive for her evening shift. She ignored it, again. The gallery was half empty. Corruption cases never drew crowds unless someone famous was involved, and Seo Jun Kim was just another mid-level government official caught skimming contracts. The kind of case that mattered to prosecutors building careers, not to the public. Mina had transcribed 47 of these in 3 years. They all ended the same way: plea deals, suspended sentences, quiet resignations. Her gaze drifted across the courtroom out of habit. Jurors fighting sleep. The prosecutor shuffling notes. Defense team huddled over tablets. And in the back row, alone, a man who didn't belong. He wore black, not courtroom black, charcoal suits and muted ties, but actual black. Black shirt. Black jacket that fit like it had been tailored to his exact measurements. No tie, no notebook, no phone in his hands, just sitting there with the kind of stillness that made you notice the absence of movement. Korean, maybe early 30s, sharp jawline, dark eyes that hadn't blinked once since she'd clocked him 20 minutes ago. Mina looked away. Reporters sometimes observed trials for background. Law students doing research, curious family members. He could be anyone. Except he wasn't looking at the defendant, or the evidence, or the lawyers performing their choreographed argument. He was looking at her. Not starring, not leering, just observing, the way you'd watch something you'd already decided mattered. She kept typing, forced her attention back to the testimony. A forensic accountant explaining shell companies and wire transfers in the kind of detail that made jurors glaze over. Important information buried under jargon nobody would remember. Her phone buzzed again. "Can you cover the 6 p.m. shift?" Soo-jin called out. She'd been awake since 5. Court started at 9. Her restaurant shift was supposed to start at 7, but they always asked her to come early. She'd say yes. She always said yes. Because paralegal work paid rent, but restaurant tips paid student loans, and the math didn't work if she only did one. The judge called recess. Mina saved her transcript file and stood, her knees protesting. The man in black stood at the same time, smooth, unhurried, like he'd planned to leave at this exact moment. She gathered her things quickly. The courthouse cafeteria was on the 2nd floor. She had 15 minutes to grab coffee and something resembling food before the afternoon session started. The hallway was marble and echo. Her flats barely made sound. His footsteps behind her did, a measured rhythm that matched her pace exactly. Mina didn't turn around. Plenty of people walked this hallway. It meant nothing. She took the stairs instead of the elevator. He took the stairs. The cafeteria was institutional, fluorescent lights, plastic chairs, the smell of burnt coffee and prepackaged sandwiches. She grabbed a tray, moved through the line, picked a turkey wrap that had been sitting under heat lamps too long. Found a table in the corner where she could see the room. He didn't follow her inside. Mina exhaled, paranoid. She was being paranoid. Working 2 jobs and sleeping 5 hours a night made you see patterns that didn't exist. She ate quickly, checked her phone, answered the restaurant *yes, I'll cover it *, and skimmed through emails she didn't have time to read properly. A shadow fell across her table. "You're very good at what you do." Mina looked up. The man in black stood 3 feet away, hands in his pockets, expression unreadable. Up close, he was younger than she'd thought. Late 20s, maybe, but there was something old in his eyes, something that had seen enough to stop being surprised. "Excuse me," her voice came out steady, professional. "The transcription." He tilted his head slightly. "You don't miss anything, even when the lawyers talk over each other, even when the judge mumbles his rulings. You catch it all." "That's my job." Most people do their job adequately. He said it like a fact, not a compliment. You do yours perfectly. Mina set down her sandwich. Do I know you? No. Are you a reporter? No. Then why are you watching me? He smiled, barely, just a slight curve at one corner of his mouth that didn't reach his eyes. Because you're about to make a choice. Her pulse kicked up, just a little, just enough to notice. I don't understand. You will. He turned and walked away. Smooth, unhurried strides that carried him out of the cafeteria and back toward the stairwell. Gone before she could decide whether to follow or call security. Mina sat frozen for 10 seconds. Then she grabbed her phone and pulled up the court docket. Scanned the observer log. No reporters listed for today. No registered media. Just a public trial, open seating, anyone could walk in. She typed a quick search. Kim corruption trial observers. Nothing useful. Local news coverage. Legal blogs analyzing the evidence, but no mention of mysterious men in black taking notes on stenographers. She was overthinking it. Had to be. The afternoon session started late. Judge was in chambers handling a motion. Mina used the time to review her morning transcript, catching a misspelled name and a timestamp error. Small things, details that mattered. The defense attorney approached her booth. James Coburn, expensive suit, thinning hair. The kind of lawyer who defended white-collar criminals because it paid better than defending innocent people. Miss Yoon, he smiled like they were friends. They weren't. Do you have a moment? Court's about to resume. This won't take long. He leaned against her workstation, casual, too casual. I wanted to compliment your professionalism, very thorough work. Thank you. I also wanted to discuss something delicate. He lowered his voice, glanced around like someone might overhear, even though the courtroom was nearly empty. There's been some concern about accuracy in the transcripts, specifically regarding Detective Hand's testimony yesterday. Mina frowned. What concern? Small discrepancies, phrases that might have been misheard. You understand how it is. People mumble. Audio quality isn't perfect. I used 3 recording backups and real-time verification. If there was a discrepancy, it would have been flagged. Of course, he smiled again, wider this time. But memory is fallible, even good memory, and certain. Interpretations of testimony could be seen as ambiguous. Her stomach dropped. She knew exactly what testimony he meant. Detective Hand describing the moment he'd confronted Seo-jun Kim about the falsified contracts. The moment Kim had said, clearly, distinctly, into a recording device, *I did what I had to do. They all do it. A confession, unambiguous. You want me to change the transcript? Mina said it flatly, not a question. I'm suggesting, Coburn said carefully, that upon review you might find the phrasing was less clear than initially recorded. Something more, open to interpretation. The kind of clarification that helps everyone move forward. It was clear. $15,000 clear. The number hit like cold water. Mina stared at him. What? A consulting fee. For your time reviewing the audio and providing a corrected transcript. Paid discreetly. Cash, if you prefer. No one would question it. Stenographers review and amend records all the time. Her hands were shaking. She locked them together under the desk where he couldn't see. That's bribery. That's compensation for additional work. Coburn's smile never wavered. You work 2 jobs, Miss Yoon. I've done my research. Court transcriptionist during the day, waitress at Soul House restaurant at night. You're tired. You're underpaid. $15,000 would make a significant difference in your life. No. Think about it. No, louder this time, firm. The transcript is accurate. I'm not changing it. Coburn's smile faded, just slightly, just enough to show something colder underneath. You should reconsider. We're done here. She turned back to her keyboard, hands still shaking, pulse hammering in her ears. Coburn straightened, adjusted his tie. Unfortunate, he said quietly. Then he walked back to the defense table like nothing had happened. The judge returned. Court resumed. Mina transcribed testimony with mechanical precision, but her mind was racing. $15,000. 3 months of rent, 6 months of loan payments. The difference between surviving and actually living. And all she had to do was lie. She didn't look at the gallery, didn't let herself check if the man in black was still there, because some part of her, irrational, paranoid, already knew he was. And he'd been right. She was making a choice. The trial adjourned at 5. Mina packed her equipment and headed for the exit, moving fast. She had 45 minutes to get across town to the restaurant. No time to process what had just happened. No time to think about Coburn's offer or what it meant that he'd researched her life. The courthouse steps were granite and worn. Early November air bit through her jacket. She pulled it tighter and started toward the subway station. Miss Yoon. She stopped. The man in black stood at the bottom of the steps, hands still in his pockets, expression still unreadable. I'm late for work, Mina said. I know. Then why are you stopping me? Because you need to understand what you just did. I didn't do anything. Exactly. He moved closer, not threatening, just inevitable like gravity. James Coburn offered you $15,000 to falsify court records. You refused. Do you know what that means? It means I'm not a criminal. It means you're dangerous. Mina blinked. What? To them, he gestured vaguely back toward the courthouse. Coburn works for people who need that transcript changed, people with resources, people who don't accept refusal easily. Then they can try bribing someone else. They won't. He said it with absolute certainty. Because you're the only one who matters, you're the stenographer of record, your transcript is the official account. If you don't change it, they have a problem. Good. They'll solve that problem. The words hung in the cold air between them. Mina's pulse kicked again, harder this time. Are you threatening me? No. He pulled one hand from his pocket, extended a business card, matte black with silver text. No company name, just a phone number. I'm telling you what happens next. Coburn will escalate. They'll offer more money, then they'll try intimidation, then worse. I'll go to the police. And tell them what? That a defense attorney offered you money. He'll deny it. No witnesses, no recording, your word against his. The judge won't help you. His voice was quiet, factual. This is a corruption case, Miss Yoon. The rot goes deeper than one mid-level official. The people protecting Seo-jun Kim have reach, influence. They will come after you. Mina stared at the card in his hand, didn't take it. Who are you? Someone who needs that transcript to stay accurate. Why? Because I also have an interest in seeing Seo-jun Kim convicted. Then you should want me to stay alive long enough to testify if needed. He smiled, actually smiled this time, small but real. Exactly. She took the card. The paper was heavy, expensive, the kind of thing that cost more than it should. If anything happens, he said, call that number. What will you do? Whatever is necessary. Then he walked away. Again. Smooth, measured steps that carried him down the street and around the corner before she could ask anything else. Mina looked at the card. No name, just the number. She shoved it in her pocket and ran for the subway. Soul House Restaurant was chaos. Friday night rush, half the staff missing, tables packed with families and couples and groups of friends celebrating the weekend. Mina tied her apron and jumped straight into orders. Bibimbap, galbi, kimchi jjigae, banchan refills, moving between tables with the same precision she used in court. Her manager, Mrs. Kim, was a small woman with iron in her spine and permanent disapproval in her expression. She ran the restaurant like a general ran a battlefield. No tolerance for mistakes, no patience for excuses. Table 7 needs more water, she snapped as Mina passed. Table 12 wants extra gochujang, and the couple at 9 has been waiting 15 minutes for their check. Mina handled it all, smiled at customers, bowed politely. ignored the ache in her feet and the exhaustion creeping into her bones. She'd been on her feet for 12 hours. Just 6 more to go. Around 9, the crowd thinned. Families left. The late-night drinkers arrived, businessmen loosening ties, groups of friends settling in for soju and conversation. Mina wiped down tables and reset silverware and tried not to think about Coburn or the man in black or the choice she'd made. $15,000. Gone. She'd done the right thing. She knew she'd done the right thing. So why did it feel like she'd just made a terrible mistake? Mina. She looked up. Mrs. Kim stood in the kitchen doorway, expression tighter than usual. Someone's here to see you. Who? Didn't say, just asked for you specifically. She frowned. He's at table 3, don't take long. Mina's stomach dropped. She walked slowly toward table 3, tucked in the corner near the window. A man sat alone, back to the wall, face shadowed. Not the man in black. This one was older. 50s maybe, expensive suit, gold watch. Thinning hair slicked back with too much product. He smiled when he saw her. Predatory. Miss Yoon, he gestured to the empty seat across from him. Please, sit. I'm working. This won't take long. I don't know you. No, he folded his hands on the table. Calm, patient. But I know you, hard worker, 2 jobs, student loans. You're trying to build something better for yourself. I respect that. Mina's pulse hammered. What do you want? To make things easier for you. He slid an envelope across the table. Thick, heavy. $25,000. Cash. All you have to do is make a small correction to a court transcript. Detective Hand's testimony. I'm told you remember it. Her hands clenched into fists. I already said no. That was to James Coburn. Consider this a better offer. The answer is still no. His smile faded. You should think carefully, Miss Yoon. Opportunities like this don't come often. I said no. Then you're making a mistake. I'm doing my job. He leaned back, studied her like she was a puzzle he couldn't quite solve. Do you know what happens to people who refuse reasonable offers? Are you threatening me? I'm educating you. He stood, adjusted his jacket. You have until Monday to reconsider. After that, the offer expires, and the consequences begin. He left the envelope on the table. Walked out of the restaurant like he'd just concluded a normal business meeting. Mina stared at the envelope. $25,000. She grabbed it, walked straight to the kitchen, found Mrs. Kim supervising a prep cook. I need to report something. Mrs. Kim looked up, irritated. What? A man just tried to bribe me, here, in the restaurant. What man? I don't know his name. 50s, expensive suit, gold watch, he left this. Mina held up the envelope. Mrs. Kim's expression shifted. Something hard moved behind her eyes. What did he want? For me to falsify court records. And you said no. Obviously. Mrs. Kim took the envelope, opened it, counted the bills quickly, efficiently, then she handed it back. Return it. What? Give it back to him. Tell him you're not interested. Don't involve the restaurant. Mina stared at her. He committed a crime. I should report this. To who? The police. Mrs. Kim's laugh was bitter. You think they'll care? You think they'll protect you? Men like that don't get arrested, Mina. They own the people who make arrests. I can't just. You can, you will, because I'm not losing this restaurant over your moral crusade. She turned back to the prep cook. Now get back to work. Table 6 needs their check. Mina stood frozen. Then she walked to the staff bathroom, locked the door, leaned against the sink and tried to breathe. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Hello? Miss Yoon. The voice was calm, familiar, the man in black. You've received a second offer. She should have been surprised, should have asked how he knew, but exhaustion and fear had burned through her capacity for shock. How are you watching me? I'm not. I'm watching them. Who are they? People who need Seo-jun Kim's conviction to disappear. Mid-level players working for someone bigger. They'll keep escalating until you break or disappear. I'm not changing the transcript. I know. Then what do you want? To keep you alive. Silence. Mina's hands were shaking again. She pressed them flat against the sink. What do I do? Finish your shift. Go home. Lock your doors. Don't go anywhere alone. For how long? Until I handle it. Handle what? The people threatening you. Her breath caught. How? You don't need to know that. I do if I'm supposed to trust you. You're not. His voice was still calm, still factual. You're supposed to survive. Trust is optional. The line went dead. Mina stared at her phone. Then she pulled the black business card from her pocket and looked at the number. It matched. She finished her shift on autopilot, smiled at customers, cleared tables, ignored Mrs. Kim's pointed silence. At midnight, she clocked out and walked to the subway station, hyper-aware of every shadow, every footstep, every car that slowed down as it passed. No one followed her. At least, no one she could see. Her apartment was a studio in a building that had been old when her mother was young. 4th floor, no elevator, narrow hallway that smelled like cooking oil and mildew. She unlocked 3 separate locks, deadbolt, chain, doorknob, and stepped inside. Empty. Safe. She locked everything behind her, checked the window, still latched, checked the fire escape clear. Then she sat on her bed and pulled out her phone. The black card sat on her nightstand. She should call the police, file a report, get protection. Except Mrs. Kim was right. Men like that didn't get arrested. They owned the people who made arrests. And the man in black had known about the second offer before she did. Which meant he was watching, following, tracking the same people who were tracking her. Which meant he was either very well connected or very dangerous. Possibly both. Mina lay back on her bed, fully clothed, lights still on. She didn't sleep. Saturday was her day off. Both jobs. The first real rest she'd had in 2 weeks. She should have slept in. Should have caught up on laundry and groceries and all the small maintenance tasks that kept life functional. Instead, she sat at her kitchen table and researched. Seo-jun Kim corruption trial. James Coburn defense attorney. Courthouse bribery. Seoul House restaurant owner. Nothing useful. Just news articles about the trial, professional bios that said nothing important, restaurant reviews complaining about slow service. She tried different searches. Korean organized crime. Court transcript falsification. Witness intimidation. The results were vague, general information, nothing specific enough to help. Her phone rang. Unknown number, again. She answered. Yes. There's a cafe 3 blocks from your apartment, north side of the street, blue awning. The man in black's voice. Be there in 20 minutes. Why? Because we need to talk, and your apartment isn't safe. How do you know where I live? 20 minutes, Miss Yoon. He hung up. Mina stared at her phone. Then she grabbed her jacket and left. The cafe was small, quiet, the kind of place that served overpriced coffee to students and freelancers who needed somewhere to work. Mina ordered tea she didn't want and sat at a table near the back. He arrived exactly on time. Sat across from her without asking, set a folder on the table between them. You look tired, he said. I didn't sleep. Smart. Who are you? My name is Kang Ji-hoon. He said it simply, like it should mean something. It didn't. And what do you do, Mr. Kang? I solve problems. What kind of problems? The kind involving people who think they're untouchable. Mina looked at the folder. What's in there? Information. He pushed it toward her. About the people threatening you, about why Seo-jun Kim's conviction matters, about what happens if that transcript gets changed. She opened it. Photographs, documents, financial records. Names she didn't recognize connected to companies she'd never heard of. Shell corporations, wire transfers, patterns of corruption that went far beyond one mid-level official skimming construction contracts. Seo-jun Kim is small, Ji-hoon said quietly. A cog in a much larger machine, but he's also careless. He kept records, made mistakes. If he goes down, he'll talk. And if he talks, the entire network collapses. What network? Government officials, business executives, police, judges, people who have been skimming public funds for 15 years. He tapped one of the photographs, a group of men in expensive suits at some kind of gala. They've built empires on stolen money. Your transcript threatens all of it. Mina felt cold. Why are you telling me this? Because you need to understand what you're up against. I already said I'm not changing the transcript. I know, he leaned back. That's why they're going to kill you. The words were so calm, so matter-of-fact. Mina's hands went numb. When? Soon, they offered money twice. You refused twice. The next step is elimination. I'll go to the police. Half the men in these photos are police. The FBI is investigating, slowly, carefully. They won't move until they have airtight cases, which means months, maybe years. You don't have that long. Then what do I do? Ji-hoon's expression didn't change. You let me protect you. How? By making it clear that harming you would be inadvisable. You mean threaten them back? I mean eliminate the threat entirely. Mina swallowed. You're talking about killing people. I'm talking about ensuring your safety. That's not legal. Neither is bribery or murder or 15 years of systemic corruption. He folded his hands on the table. You're operating under the assumption that the law will protect you. It won't. The law is what they've been breaking. You need something else. I need something that doesn't make me complicit in murder. Then you'll die with a clear conscience. The bluntness of it hit like a slap. Mina stood. I'm leaving. Sit down. I don't take orders from you. You do if you want to live. She froze. Ji-hoon's voice was still calm, still quiet, but there was steel underneath now. The kind of certainty that came from seeing this exact scenario play out before. I'm not your enemy, Miss Yoon. I'm the only reason you're still alive. The man who approached you at the restaurant last night, he's killed 3 people in the last 2 years. Witnesses who refused to cooperate. They all died in accidents. Car crashes, muggings gone wrong, falls from balconies. He paused. You would have been number 4. Would have been. I made it clear that touching you would have consequences. What consequences? The permanent kind. Mina sat back down, slowly. You killed him. No, Ji-hoon's expression was unreadable. I don't kill people for making threats. I kill people for following through. He's alive. But he understands that harming you means I come for everyone he cares about, his family, his associates, everyone. That's terrorism. That's deterrence. It's still wrong. Probably. He said it like he'd made peace with that fact a long time ago. But it works. Silence. Mina looked at the folder again. All those names, all those crimes. Why do you care? She asked quietly. About the trial, about me, why does this matter to you? Ji-hoon was quiet for a long moment. Then, because Seo-jun Kim's network destroyed my family's business, forced us into bankruptcy through rigged contracts and falsified inspections. My father killed himself 3 years ago, hung himself in our warehouse because he couldn't live with the shame of losing everything. His voice never changed, still calm, still factual. But his eyes were cold. I've spent 3 years building a case, gathering evidence, tracking money. Your transcript is the final piece, the thing that makes it all fall apart. So yes, Miss Yoon, I care. Mina's chest felt tight. I'm sorry. Don't be. Just stay alive long enough to finish the job. And then what? Then you go back to your life, and I go back to mine. What life is that? He smiled, cold, humorless. When you don't want to know about. He stood, collected the folder. Keep your doors locked. Don't go anywhere alone. If anyone approaches you, anyone, call me immediately. I don't have your number. You have my card. It's not exactly reassuring to have a phone number and no name. Now you have both. He walked out. Mina sat alone in the cafe, tea gone cold, mind racing. She should run, leave town, disappear until the trial was over. Except running meant the transcript would disappear too. Someone else would take over, someone who might accept the bribe. And 15 years of corruption would continue. She pulled out her phone, stared at the black card. Then she went home. Sunday passed in slow, anxious hours. Mina stayed inside, ordered delivery, kept her phone charged and nearby. Every sound in the hallway made her pulse spike. Every car that slowed outside her window felt like a threat. No one came. Monday morning, she returned to court. The Kim trial was entering its final week. Closing arguments scheduled for Wednesday. Jury deliberation after that. By Friday, it would all be over. 5 more days. She could survive 5 more days. The courtroom felt different, wrong, like the air pressure had changed. Mina set up her equipment and tried to ignore the feeling of being watched. James Coburn wasn't there. Different defense attorney at the table. Younger, nervous. He kept glancing at the gallery like he was waiting for someone. Mina followed his gaze. Back row, same seat. Kang Ji-hoon. Black shirt, black jacket, hands folded, expression unreadable. He didn't look at her. But his presence was a message. The trial proceeded. Prosecution rested its case. Defense began theirs, character witnesses, expert testimony about accounting practices, arguments about reasonable doubt. Standard procedure. Mina transcribed it all with mechanical precision. At lunch, she stayed in the courthouse, grabbed a sandwich from the cafeteria and ate at her workstation. Someone sat down next to her. Not Ji-hoon. A woman, 40s, professional suit, kind eyes. Miss Yoon. Mina looked up. Yes. I'm Detective Sarah Chen. I'm with the Federal Task Force investigating corruption in the Public Contracts Division. She showed a badge. Real, official. I'd like to ask you a few questions. Mina's pulse kicked. About what? About James Coburn, and about any unusual contact you've had in the past week. Why? Because we've been tracking attempts to tamper with this trial, and your name came up. Mina set down her sandwich. I haven't done anything wrong. I know, that's the problem. Chen's expression was sympathetic. You refused a bribe, which means you became a target. We need to know what happened, who approached you, what they offered. Why should I trust you? Because I'm federal, not local, which means I don't answer to anyone in those photographs. Mina blinked. What photographs? The ones Kang Ji-hoon showed you. Her stomach dropped. You know him. We've been monitoring him for 6 months. Chen leaned closer, lowered her voice. Ji-hoon is dangerous, Miss Yoon, very dangerous. He's not a law enforcement officer. He's not a private investigator. He's a vigilante with connections to organized crime. He said he was protecting me. He's protecting his own interests. This trial matters to him for personal reasons, and he's willing to use you and put you in danger to get what he wants. He saved my life. Did he? Or did he escalate a situation that could have been handled quietly through proper channels? Mina's head was spinning. I don't understand. Kang Ji-hoon operates outside the law. He threatens people, coerces them, sometimes worse. We can't prove it, but we know. And we know he's been watching this trial, watching you. Chen's voice was gentle, firm. If you cooperate with us, we can protect you, properly, legally, but you need to tell us everything. Mina looked across the cafeteria. Ji-hoon stood near the exit, not hiding, not approaching, just there. Watching. I need to think, Mina said. You don't have time to think. Closing arguments are in 2 days. After that, the jury deliberates. If they convict, you're safe. If they don't. If they don't, then I failed. No, If they don't, you're a loose end. Silence. Chen stood, handed Mina a business card, official, government seal, contact information. Call me. Today we'll bring you in, keep you safe, get your full statement. And then what? Then we take down the people threatening you. Legally. That's the only way we operate. She walked away. Mina sat alone, staring at 2 business cards. One black, no name, just a number. One white, official, Federal Task Force. 2 paths. She looked up. Ji-hoon was gone. The afternoon session was short. Defense wrapped its case. Judge scheduled closing arguments for Wednesday at 9. Court adjourned. Mina packed her equipment slowly. Everyone else left. Defense team, prosecution, observers, gallery. She was alone in the courtroom. Almost. Ji-hoon stood at the back, waiting. Mina walked toward him, stopped 5 feet away. The FBI talked to me. I know. They said you're dangerous. I am. They said you're using me. They're not wrong. The honesty of it was startling. Then why should I trust you? Because I'm honest about what I am. He moved closer, not threatening, just present. Detective Chen will make promises, protection, safety, justice through proper channels. She means it. She'll try. But the system is broken. The people threatening you own pieces of it. They'll find you, even in protective custody, even with federal agents watching. They always do. And you're different. I don't play by their rules. That's not reassuring. It's not meant to be. It's meant to be effective. Mina's hands were shaking again. She locked them together. What do you want from me? Keep doing your job. Transcribe the closing arguments. Submit the official record. Let the trial proceed. And when it's over, then you're free. What about the people threatening me? They'll be handled. How? His expression didn't change. You don't want that answer. I do. No, quiet, firm. You want to believe that justice can happen cleanly, that bad people face consequences without good people getting their hands dirty. But that's not how this works, not with corruption this deep. So you kill them, if necessary. That makes you a murderer. Yes. The simplicity of it was terrifying. Mina took a step back. I can't be part of this. You already are. Ji-hoon's voice was gentle, almost kind. The moment you refused that bribe, you chose a side. Now you have to decide how you survive the choice. I'll go to the FBI. Go, he didn't try to stop her. Tell them everything. Get their protection, see how it works out. You think they'll fail? I think they'll try. I think it won't be enough. And if you're wrong, then you're safe and I was unnecessary. He turned to leave, paused. But if I'm right, keep that card close, you'll need it. He walked away, left her standing alone in the empty courtroom. Mina went home, locked her doors, sat on her bed with both business cards in front of her. FBI, Kang Ji-hoon. Legal protection, illegal violence. She picked up her phone. Dialed. Detective Chen, this is Mina Yoon. I want to cooperate. The FBI moved fast. By Tuesday morning, Mina was in a safe house, a nondescript apartment in a building 40 minutes from the courthouse. 2 agents assigned to her, rotation shifts, 24-hour protection. Detective Chen visited personally. You did the right thing, she said. We'll keep you safe, testify at closing arguments, submit the transcript. After that, we'll move you somewhere more permanent until the trial concludes. What about my jobs? We've contacted your employers. Explain the situation. You'll be compensated for lost wages. And after the trial, witness protection, new identity if necessary. It depends on how things develop. Mina nodded numbly. This was safety. This was the right choice. Wednesday morning, they drove her to the courthouse in an unmarked car, agents flanking her, back entrance, straight to the courtroom. Ji-hoon wasn't there. She told herself she was relieved. Closing arguments began at 9. Prosecution went first. Clear, methodical, laid out the evidence piece by piece. Financial records, testimony. The moment Seo-jun Kim had confessed on recording. The transcript Mina had recorded. She typed every word, captured every pause, every inflection. Defense went next. The new attorney, not Coburn, argued reasonable doubt, ambiguity, the possibility of miscommunication, nothing concrete, nothing convincing. Jury listened. Some looked convinced, some looked skeptical. It could go either way. Court adjourned at noon. Judge gave final instructions. Jury retired to deliberate. Now it was just waiting. Mina submitted her transcript, filed the official record, collected her equipment. Agent Morrison approached, ready to go. Yes. They walked toward the exit, same back hallway, same unmarked car waiting. Halfway down the hall, Morrison's phone buzzed. He checked it, frowned. What? Mina asked. Nothing, just his expression shifted. Stay here. Why? Just stay here. He walked ahead, spoke quietly into his phone, turned the corner. Mina stood alone in the hallway. Waiting. 1 minute. 2. Morrison didn't come back. She took a step forward. Someone grabbed her arm. Mina spun. Not Morrison. Different man, older, familiar. The man from the restaurant, gold watch, expensive suit. Predatory smile. Miss Yoon, his voice was calm, pleasant. We need to talk. She tried to pull away. His grip tightened. Don't make a scene. Your agent friend is occupied. This will only take a moment. Let go of me. I gave you a chance. Multiple chances, you refused. That was unfortunate. Mina looked around. Empty hallway. No one coming. Where's Agent Morrison? Detained. Nothing permanent. Just long enough for us to have this conversation. I'm under federal protection. And yet here we are. He pulled her closer. Not violent, just inevitable. You're going to walk with me, out the side exit, into a car. Quietly, calmly, or your federal friends will find Agent Morrison with a very unfortunate head injury. Her pulse hammered. You're insane. I'm pragmatic. You're a problem. Problems get solved. He started pulling her toward the side exit. Mina planted her feet. Help. His hand clamped over her mouth. Hard, bruising. Don't. She bit down. He swore, shoved her against the wall. His other hand went to his jacket, reaching for something. A gun. Mina's mind went white. This was it. This was how she died. Then someone else was there. Moving fast, silent. A hand caught the man's wrist, twisted, bone cracked. The man screamed. Kang Ji-hoon stepped between them. Black shirt, black jacket, expression cold. You were told not to touch her. The man cradled his broken wrist. You don't give orders. Ji-hoon hit him. Once. Hard. The man dropped. Ji-hoon turned to Mina. Are you hurt? She shook her head, couldn't speak. Can you walk? Yes. Then we're leaving. He took her hand, not rough, not gentle, just firm, pulled her down the hallway in the opposite direction. Agent Morrison. Is fine, locked in a storage closet. I'll call someone to get him out. How did you know? I was watching. The FBI said they'd protect me. They tried. He pushed through a maintenance exit, led her down a narrow stairwell. They failed. They emerged in an alley behind the courthouse. A car waited, black, tinted windows. Ji-hoon opened the passenger door. Get in. Mina hesitated. Now, Miss Yoon. She got in. He drove fast, efficient, no wasted movement. 5 minutes, 10, 20. The city blurred past. Finally, she found her voice. Where are we going? Somewhere safe. The FBI. Can't help you. Not anymore. The man who grabbed you is connected to 2 federal judges and a deputy director. They'll claim he was trying to escort you to safety. Your word against his. He tried to kidnap me. Prove it. Silence. Mina's hands were shaking, full body tremors now. I can't do this. You don't have a choice. I could run, leave the city, disappear. They'd find you. You don't know that. I do. His voice was flat, final. Because I've seen what they do to people who run. It takes them longer, but they always find you. Then what do I do? You let me finish it. She looked at him, really looked at him. Calm, controlled, certain. A man who'd made peace with violence a long time ago. What does finishing it mean? Everyone who threatened you, everyone who tried to bribe you, everyone involved in the network. He glanced at her. They all go away. You mean you kill them? If necessary. That's murder. That's justice. That's not the same thing. Sometimes it is. The car stopped. They were parked outside a warehouse, industrial district, no other buildings nearby. Ji-hoon got out, walked around, opened her door. Come on. Mina didn't move. I'm not a killer. I know. I can't be part of this. You won't be, he extended his hand. You'll be inside, safe, while I handle the rest. And then what? Then the trial concludes, the jury convicts. Seo-jun Kim goes to prison, the network collapses, and you go home. Just like that. Just like that. She stared at his hand. Took it. Let him pull her out of the car. Inside, the warehouse was clean, organized. Living space set up in one corner, bed, kitchenette, bathroom, secure. You live here? Mina asked. Sometimes. What do you do the rest of the time? Solve problems. By killing people. By removing obstacles. He walked to a desk, pulled out files, spread them across the surface. These are the men threatening you, 8 total. 3 are local enforcers, 2 are mid-level organizers, 2 are political connections, 1 is the money. Mina looked at the files. Faces, names, details. You've been planning this. For 3 years. And I'm just, what, the excuse? You're the catalyst, he looked at her. Your transcript forces their hand, makes them desperate. Desperation makes them sloppy. So you're using me. Yes. Again, the honesty was startling. Why tell me? Because you deserve to know. He closed the files. You can stay here, or I can take you back to the FBI, your choice. If I go back, they'll try again. Yes. If I stay, you'll kill people. Yes. And I'll be complicit. No, his voice was firm. You'll be alive, there's a difference. Mina sat down on the edge of the bed. Tried to think. Failed. How long do I have to decide? You already did, the moment you got in the car. He was right. She'd made her choice. Mina stayed in the warehouse for 2 days. Ji-hoon came and went, never explained where, never told her what he was doing. She didn't ask. On Friday morning, he returned with coffee and news. The jury reached a verdict. Mina's pulse spiked, and guilty, all counts. She exhaled, relief flooding through her. It's over. Almost. What does that mean? Seo-jun Kim will talk, offer names in exchange for a reduced sentence. The network will start to collapse, but the people who threatened you, they won't wait for arrests. They'll run. Or they'll come for you one last time. Mina's hands clenched. When? Soon. How soon? Tonight. He said it so calmly. Like it was inevitable. What do I do? Nothing. Stay here, lock the door. Don't open it for anyone but me. And you. I'll handle it. How? He didn't answer. Just left. Mina sat alone in the warehouse, listening to silence. Hours passed. She tried to sleep, couldn't. Tried to eat, couldn't. Just waited. Around midnight, her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She answered. Hello. Miss Yoon. A voice she didn't recognize, calm, professional. This is Agent Morrison, we need you to come in. How did you get this number? We've been tracking you, for your protection. There's been a development, we need your statement immediately. What development? Several individuals connected to the Kim case have been found dead. We believe Kang Ji-hoon is responsible. If you're with him, you're in danger. Mina's stomach dropped. I'm not. We know where you are. A team is en route. Stay where you are, we'll extract you safely. The line went dead. Mina stared at her phone. Then she heard it. Footsteps outside. Multiple people. She moved to the window, looked out. 3 cars, black, unmarked. Men getting out, not FBI. Wrong body language, wrong equipment. Her pulse hammered. This wasn't a rescue. This was an execution. She grabbed her phone, called the only number that mattered. Ji-hoon answered on the first ring. They're here, Mina whispered. I know, stay away from the windows. What do I? Gunshots. Outside, close. Mina dropped to the floor. More shots, return fire, shouting. Then silence. She waited. 1 minute. 2. The door opened. Ji-hoon stepped inside, jacket torn, blood on his hands, not his. Are you hurt? He asked. No. Good, we're leaving. What happened? They're handled. Handled how? Permanently. He pulled her to her feet, led her outside. Bodies on the ground, 8 of them, the men from the files. All dead. Mina's knees gave out. Ji-hoon caught her. Don't look. You killed them. Yes. All of them. Yes. You're a murderer. Yes, he guided her to the car, and you're alive. They drove in silence. 20 minutes later, they stopped outside her apartment. You can go home now, Ji-hoon said. It's over. Just like that. Just like that. Mina looked at him, blood still on his hands, expression still calm. What happens to you? I disappear, move on to the next problem. The FBI will come after you. They'll try. You'll kill them too. No, I don't kill people trying to do their jobs, just people trying to do harm. There's a difference. Always. She got out of the car, stood on the sidewalk. Thank you, she said quietly. For what? For keeping me alive. You kept yourself alive. I just removed the obstacles. That's not true. It's true enough. He started to drive away. Mina called out, Will I see you again? He paused, looked back. I hope not. Then he was gone. Mina stood alone on the empty street. Alive. Safe. Complicit. 3 months later, Mina sat in a new apartment across town. Better neighborhood, better building, better life. The money had appeared in her account 2 weeks after the trial ended. $50,000, untraceable, anonymous. She'd tried to refuse it. Called banks, tried to return it. Failed. So she'd used it, paid off loans, quit the restaurant, kept the court job. Seoul House restaurant had closed. Mrs. Kim disappeared, no forwarding address. James Coburn was disbarred, under investigation for witness tampering. Seo-jun Kim was in prison, 12 years, talking to prosecutors about everyone he knew. The corruption network was collapsing. Slowly, but collapsing. Mina never heard from Kang Ji-hoon again. Never saw him in court. Never got another call. Sometimes she wondered if he was even real. Then she'd remember the blood on his hands. The bodies outside the warehouse. The calm certainty in his voice when he said, You're alive. And she'd know. He was real. He was dangerous. And he'd saved her life. She kept the black business card. Didn't call it. Didn't throw it away. Just kept it in her wallet, a reminder. That sometimes justice required violence. That sometimes the law wasn't enough. That sometimes the most dangerous man in the room was the only reason you survived. One night, her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Hello. Silence. Then, you're doing well. Ji-hoon's voice. Mina's pulse kicked. How do you know? I'm still watching. Why? Because some threats don't disappear completely. They just go dormant. Am I still in danger? No, but I wanted you to know I'm here, if you ever need me. I won't. Good, a pause, but if you do, you have the number. The line went dead. Mina sat in her new apartment, phone in hand, staring at nothing. She was safe. She was free. And somewhere in the city, a man in black was watching. Waiting. Ready. She hoped she'd never need him again. But she was glad he was there. Because she'd learned something these past months. That power wasn't always loud. That protection wasn't always legal. That sometimes the most dangerous man in the world was the only one who could keep you safe. And that she'd been right all along. She was safest the moment the most dangerous man noticed her.